G'day guys, this is Darren. Hey, I just thought I might invite you to kind of journey along with me today, and I want to share the first part of my story. So I'm just going to take a little bushwalk down here by the lake. Lovely bit of New Zealand bush here, not very long. But so starting with my story, my journey, where it all kind of begins. As far as I can remember back would be about when I was 4 years old. And I remember I had to go to hospital for an operation. And as I remember it, it wasn't so much as an operation to fix something, but more of an exploration to find out if there was a problem. So they cut my bowels open, had an investigation, had a look, see if there's any obstructions or abnormalities. And then for a long time after that, I had to have appointments at the hospital to see how I was going and to see if everything was kind of settling down and functioning normally. But the interesting thing about this time, this hospital visit, was that I was only 4 years old, and I believe it was just before Christmas. And I remember when I was leaving the hospital, there was a big Mickey Mouse Christmas cake. So yeah, it's just really a reference to the memory that this is right before Christmas. And as a 4-year-old, there was that kind of time of separation and questioning what's wrong with me and what's this all about. And I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember that visit, and I believe it had an impact on how I felt when I was younger. So what followed on from that in my story journey was when I was 6 years old, so about 2 years later, my parents decided to separate. So my father left home, my parents separated, and I just want to comment here and say this is no dishonor to my father or my parents. They didn't abandon me, they didn't give up on me. But I think what I sensed as a young person, as a young boy, was a sense of, I felt abandoned. I felt, and being the youngest of 4 children, I think I felt it a lot. I felt it a lot. And later on through the years, that affected my journey, and I felt a sense of disconnect. And then that kind of carried on with how I felt through my school years, and also, a hospital visit, and then followed up by visits to the hospital to meet with the same doctor every 6 months, then each year, until things finally settled down and they decided that I wasn't going to have any more problems. And that's cool from a physical point of view. But I think for me, I did feel abandoned, I did feel disconnected. And, being an introverted, creative person, I enjoyed having time out. I enjoyed having days off school and just doing my own thing and hanging out with mum. But yeah, I think it created a gap and a disconnect for me, socially, from others around me, with school. And the interesting thing that kind of leads on from that with my family is that after my father left, my mother decided to start taking us along up to the top of the street to an Anglican church, and we did Sunday school there, and we did services together. And probably the earliest memory from that would be the vicar setting up a leading communion, and he had the cup with the wine or the port in his hand, breaking the bread, sharing the wine. And I remember him saying, "Whoever drinks this cup shall have eternal life." And that really struck me. It kind of stuck with me. And this thought kind of came into my heart, this thought, hey, you don't want to live forever. What would you do with forever? Why would you want to live forever? And I don't know, it might seem strange to you. I think to me there was a sense of like, I don't know, I'm questioning, did I think maybe, this life's not that great? Maybe I don't want to live forever. And when I think back, I think, it wasn't the sense that, hey, we live forever, we have eternal life. It was that almost like, hey, you can choose, and why would you choose that? So I'm coming out to a bit of sunshine now, a nice time of the afternoon. So that's kind of the first part of my journey, and one of the first questions I had in my life. So I'll leave it at that, and I think I'll elaborate further as I go along. I'm sharing another part of my journey and where that's led for me. And obviously, if you can tell, I'm 50 years old, so I've come a long way since then, and it's really interesting to consider that journey, where it led, and what questions I asked in my life, and what answers I've come up with now. Yeah, and how does that sound to you? Yeah, feel free to comment and share if there's anything about this you're interested in, or want to discuss, or want to share from your story. Hey, feel free, and I hope this blesses somebody as they listen. Thanks.